This footage went viral 1 year ago. It shows what the Kherson region looked like after Russian forces destroyed the Kakhovka Hydroelectric Power Station dam. The attack took place at 3 o'clock in the morning on the 6th of June.
In light of developments on the battlefield, Russia's deliberate and long-planned terrorist act turned the man-made flood into a weapon. The harm to the environment is of particular concern.
At first, the Russians tried to lay the blame on Ukrainian forces, accusing them of shelling the dam and causing its partial destruction. However, there had been no shelling into the night, reported local residents. At that time, the Kakhovka Hydroelectric Power Plant and the dam had been under Russian control for more than 1 year.
It is physically impossible to blow it up from the outside by shelling. It was mined. It was mined by the Russian occupiers. They blew it up.
Around 80 settlements in Ukraine, not only in the Kherson region but also in the Mykolaiv region, came under threat of flooding. Houses and fields were submerged, thousands of people were evacuated. While these evacuations took place, Russian forces continued to shell Ukrainian territories, especially Kherson.
Russia cannot defeat us on the battlefield. So, it targets civilian infrastructure to try to freeze us into submission.
Russians also didn't allow Ukrainians to rescue the people in the temporarily occupied territories. Often, the only help the Ukrainian military could provide was the provision of drinking water delivered by drones. Here is an account from Oleshki. Oleshki was one of the Russian-occupied villages. 6 months after the disaster, Associated Press journalists published the results of their own investigation. At the time of the flood, Oleshki had about 16,000 residents. The number of residents killed ran into the hundreds. The investigators talked to a dozen people, including medical workers who kept records of the dead and a volunteer who was involved in the burials. The Russians, on the other hand, stated that only 59 people died in the floods in Russian-controlled territories.
Putin did not hesitate to employ hunger as a weapon, energy as a weapon. He weaponized winter. He is playing a nuclear gamble with nuclear power plants in Ukraine. So this is, again, new escalation, new sign of escalation.
The destruction of the dam killed 33 people and injured 28 on the territory controlled by Ukraine. 40 more are still missing a year after the disaster. The safety of the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is also under threat. The dam's reservoir provided essential cooling for all 6 reactors in Europe's largest nuclear power station.